You're listening to the DreArea Sports Show, live on YouTube and X. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
What's going on, you guys? Welcome to the DreArea Sports Show. I'm here joined by my co-host, Mr. Drew Forder, former Cron 4 associate.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
That was many years ago, though, man.
Many years ago, many moons ago. And I'm your host, Andre Fernandez. Or you can just call me Dre. I can just go by Dre all the time. It's fine. Guys, today we're going to be talking about the San Francisco 49ers. We got OTA news. It started this week. And tomorrow it's open to the media, so when all those little goons get in there and create their narratives, we'll be ready for it to bring you more coverage. But we have some news on Fred Warner, some news on Jake Moody. A new punter was signed. A lot of good stuff to talk about when it comes to San Francisco 49ers. But, man, I wanted to ask you, Drew, have you been watching the NBA playoffs?
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Both series are 3-1 right now, but I'm telling you, these have been yesterday's Knicks-Pacers game. That was one of the most incredible. Offensive games I've ever seen. The pace was unbelievable. Tyrese Halliburton is just like, he almost had a triple-double at halftime, dude.
He ended the game with a triple-double. I couldn't believe it.
It was incredible. I'm so happy for Indiana. I'm even though those fans sometimes, it's like, I look in the crowd, I'm like, is there any diversity in Indianapolis?
Probably not.
But they're
outside cheering. Yeah,
they're all outside cheering. But Reggie
Jumbotron.
Reggie Miller's a fan. He's minority. But I really think that it's gonna be the Pacers. It's gonna be the Thunder. It's gonna be a great series because what we've seen in the NBA.
You said Pacers and Thunder?
Oh yeah, Pacers and Thunder, because tonight the Thunder are going to close out the T-Wolves in Oklahoma City. I know the NBA is going to be turning over in their grave with this series as far as the markets go, but these are the two right now. These are the two deepest and best teams in the NBA. They just are. If you look at their rosters and if you look at how they're constructed, Indiana, they can go 11, 12 deep, and they've got the defense. I mean, just look at Aaron Nesmith. I mean, this guy, he has been just absolutely shutting down the opposite team's best player. He's been awesome. He came back from an ankle injury. He looked great last night. He's going to be, I think he has a chance to make an impact on SGA in the finals when they get to that point. And then look at the Thunder. What can you say about the Thunder? They've been building this up for many years now with their draft picks, with their capital. They've made great decisions. Sam Presti has done a great job with that organization. Trading away Paul George, trading away Russell Westbrook. Really, just the way that they've built it up from the bottom up. And the great trade that they made for SGA for Paul George. I mean, one of the biggest swindle jobs you'll ever see in the NBA. And they're primed to win the championship. But I think, in my opinion, it could be a really close and interesting series in the finals.
I think so too. But I mean, look, when you tell me that, hey, NBA Finals, Indiana versus OKC, again, I go straight to this. I don't care. I don't care. It's boring. I'm sorry. But look, is it going to be a good series? I think it will be a really good series. But unfortunately, it's two teams that I could care less about. I hate SGA. The moment you breathe on him, he flops. It's just, he is the James Harden 2.0. And I can't stand that kind of play. And the Warriors were always great about keeping your hands up. Remember, show your hands. Yeah. And so they really helped to neutralize James Harden before the refs finally figured out, you know what? This guy's kind of annoying. And I think it's going to happen to SGA. He won the MVP award. Great. Awesome. Amazing. Guy's very, very talented. But when you play the game like that, you don't garner any respect from the rest of the league. And so that is going to wear thin on the rest of the league every single year, and eventually it'll wear thin on the refs as well.
I think for fans, I know on this channel we're 49ers centric, and we're looking at our local teams. But honestly, man, like this is going to be it's going to be a great series. I do believe it's going to be a really interesting series. For those of you that haven't had a chance to watch the NBA this year, Tyrese Halliburton, he's an unbelievable player.
He's playing incredible right
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And if you look at the two rosters, they match up really well against each other. I mean, the Thunder, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, they've got some great young talented players. And I'm sorry, but the last few years, it's gotten a little stale for me. Denver, Boston, the Warriors, obviously we were really happy, but even the Warriors are getting a little bit stale in the league, in the circles of the league. Everybody wants the Warriors to lose now because they hate the Warriors.
That's what happens when you win.
I
would rather see Golden State in the finals, not because I'm a Golden State Warriors fan, because I am, but because Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, there's bigger names, there's a bigger draw. And I'm sorry, but when the Lakers got eliminated, when the Warriors got eliminated, when the Boston Celtics got eliminated, it drives the game down, and it's unfortunate. It is. But I do think that Golden State will make some moves in this offseason to really bolster up this team to make a better run at a championship. I heard rumors just the other day that Jimmy Butler's already trying to recruit Bam Adebayo to come over to Golden State. That would be huge. If just adding Bam would be gigantic.
I think next year's going to be a great year for the Warriors from the beginning, having that core, having that experience from this year. But just think about the NBA just for a minute. I know we're going to move on, but what they've done, what Adam Silver has done with this league, they've added the in-season tournament. They've tried to really spice it up.
I hate the in-season tournament. I really hate it.
Say what you want about it. It was successful. It has been successful when you ask executives, when you ask individuals within the league. This year especially, it was a pretty successful event for the league. So the final was kind of bleh, but it did bring it brings a little bit more interest other than waiting for Christmas Day. Yes, the NBA is very disappointed about the fact that the Lakers are out, that the Celtics are out, that the Knicks are going to be out. But I think next year you'll see the cream rise to the top again because the Celtics, they may not be back, but I think the Knicks are going to be really solid. I think that the Warriors are going to be back up. The Lakers are going to improve themselves. Luka hopefully will get back in shape again. But the reality is also that there's a lot of great young teams. Indiana and OKC, they're just so young and talented.
Yeah, they're young and deep, and that's where they have the advantage. They're young, they're deep, and they got players that are great role players to support the young players. And so that's where they've created two deep rosters. And we've seen in the past that most teams that are deep are the ones that win. Look at Golden State when they played against the Raptors. They went against a deeper team, and they lost. Yeah. I mean, they didn't have Kevin Durant. I think if we had Durant, we would have won that. If not, the series.
And Klay Thompson got hurt in Game 6.
If we had, Thompson and Durant for the whole series, I mean, you figure without Durant, it almost went 7 games. So with Durant, I think we win that in 6 games. So, but who knows? Who knows what would have happened? But the NBA playoffs are.
Anyways, we can all go to sleep.
No, they're really good though, and it is sad that the Knicks probably aren't going to advance in the into the finals because that would have been a huge draw. But and I think that Jalen Brunson is killing it.
The Knicks still have a chance. The Thunder are going to close it out tonight. I will bet I'd hate to say this on the air, but I'll bet my family on it. I believe
you're going to hell now.
I believe the Thunder are going to absolutely just demolish the Timberwolves tonight.
Here's a shot of Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle before the game tonight. There they are, getting ready for the game.
I mean, or you could find them on a beach maybe somewhere soon. But I thought
we're getting the Home Depot versions. I
thought you were going to show a picture. I thought you were going to show a picture of my kids and my kids being like deported out of my house.
Oh Jesus! No, not yet. Anyway.
but like they're gonna win. But I think the Knicks actually have a chance. I think the Knicks can win. They can definitely win Game 5 tomorrow night, and they can get it back to Indiana for a Game 6, and then some of the pressure goes back onto the Pacers at home trying to close it out.
Yeah. I mean, look, this goes to show you they're going against OKC. I really feel like if Golden State hadn't lost Steph Curry, we would have beat the Timberwolves. Because you see how inconsistent Anthony Edwards is. Rudy Gobert is just a stick figure. And really, the guy who was killing us was Julius Randle. But we had no other offensive player to kind of offset what he was doing consistently in every single game. We saw Anthony Edwards be very streaky, even against the Warriors. The guy who wasn't, Julius Randle. So if you had Steph Curry, who's matching him in scoring, that puts more pressure on Randle to not mess up, to not make that mistake. And he can't just be so calm and collected, like, I'm going to pull up for a three. Oh, I got it.
He was so relaxed.
So relaxed.
Oh, my God.
He did to Draymond Green what Draymond does to a lot of the players, where he just... It's almost like the best way to combat Draymond Green was he just ignored him. He was just like, "What? Who's that guy? I don't know who that guy is." And he was a non-factor. And so Draymond got exposed. And it begs the question, too, because the last time, especially Game 4 against the Celtics, what did we do? Steve Kerr took out Draymond Green in favor of Jordan Poole because he wanted more offense, because they kept leaving Draymond wide open for threes. And, of course, he's going to take that shot because he wants to contribute. It makes you wonder.
What? It worked.
It worked, but it makes you wonder this coming season. I highly doubt they'll move Draymond Green, but is it a possibility that Draymond may be gone to bring in some other players?
I think he might. I think they need to seriously consider bringing him off the bench, and I don't mean that in terms of I'm not even saying that in terms of his game declining. I still think he's a great defensive player, but they need more offense to start games.
Yeah, they really do.
How many times do you see the first 5 minutes of the game kick it out to Draymond with that stupid shot? Clunk.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
It's off the side of the backboard.
and Draymond misses everything there. And then if you made a sign and trade, and let's say you moved him, Kuminga, whoever, and you got a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo, Giannis isn't going to take that three. He's just going to drive it to the hole because he's bigger, faster, and stronger than you. He's like, no, I'm just going to bring it to the hole, and you're going to end up fouling me, or you're going to get dunked on. So we'll see what the Warriors do. I think they're going to make a move to really bolster up this lineup. I like Bam Adebayo. I like, obviously, I like Giannis Antetokounmpo. Who doesn't like him? I mean, the guy is a monster. But let's move on to our first topic of the day, which is TJ's take on Purdy, calling him overpaid. Okay, so let's take a look at this clip real quick, and then we're going to comment on what the hell TJ Houshmandzadeh was trying to talk about here. Here we go.
I'm sick of TJ.
I believe they did overpay for Brock Purdy. I would have given Brock Purdy $47 million a year. That would have been the most I'm giving him. We needed you last year. You went 1-6 against playoff teams. When we had guys hurt, Christian McCaffrey was out, Trent Williams was out, Ayuk got hurt, and you couldn't really get it done. I think Brock Purdy is a hell of a quarterback, but I'm not giving you money when you show me when we need you to take over, you can't take over. We need you to carry us, you can't carry us. But at one point, they said Jalen Hurts was overpaid. Now, Jalen Hurts is underpaid. You know, win a Super Bowl with the Eagles, now you underpaid. And so if Brock Purdy takes the San Francisco 49ers to the Super Bowl and they win it, then his contract is well worth it. Until he does that, he's overpaid.
Okay, so let's talk about this horrible take by TJ Houshmandzadeh. Oh my God, this is just atrocious. So by all standards, if you go by his take and say, yeah, you know what, I agree with him. I agree. They shouldn't have paid Brock all that money. They should have saved the money. Then you're saying, okay, so I guess Josh Allen, he's overpaid. Lamar Jackson, he's overpaid. Who else is there? Joe Burrow, he's overpaid.
Joe Burrow's overpaid.
Oh, but Jalen Hurts.
Lamar Jackson, did you say him?
Yeah. But Jalen Hurts, no, he's not overpaid because he won the Super Bowl. He played really well, by the way, in that game.
He did.
But this is complete asinine. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. What it is that you got a guy in TJ Houshmandzadeh, a former receiver. I would call this guy a fucking one-hit wonder because he was only good for a short span of time back when Ocho Cinco and Carson Palmer were linked up in Cincinnati. This guy had a few years where he was productive.
Yeah. And
I remember the year the Niners went to the Super Bowl, they actually tried him out under Jim Harbaugh because we were down a receiver, and he didn't even make the team. So, look, do I respect Houshmandzadeh? Of course I do. He's an NFL player. I mean, the guy's been he played in 2 playoff games and lost both of them. So, what does that mean? So, look, at the end of the day, if you want to hold that standard to Brock Purdy, then you got to hold it to everybody else. And when you hold it up to everybody else, it doesn't hold up at all. It's ridiculous. Drew, what did you think about his take?
First of all, I think he overpaid for that ponytail, but that's my
horsetail. It's a horsetail.
Yeah, that's my first take. No, he's completely asine's not even the word to describe it. We talked about this last week on our show. They didn't have a choice. They had to resign Brock Purdy, and I say that with all due respect to Brock Purdy and his abilities. It wasn't like they had to do it and they had no other choices. They could have gone in another direction, but it was the only logical decision for the organization, for Brock Purdy, and for where they are with the salary cap and what they've done in the offseason. Yeah. They had to re-sign Brock Purdy, and they did not overpay him. They didn't. They actually, I feel like they actually were able to get a pretty team-friendly deal. We talked about the contract. We talked about how it's going to grow exponentially over the next few years. But he is the quarterback of this team. Kyle Shanahan has committed to him. It's taken us how many years? 10 years? 9 years for Kyle Shanahan to commit to a quarterback. He never truly committed to Jimmy G. I'm happy that he didn't. And look at Jimmy G now. He never really committed to Trey Lance because nobody could. He's a scrub. Could. Okay. So this was the only direction that we could go. I feel like the organization, the front office, they were able to maneuver the money around to make it team friendly enough. And there's other things that have happened this year that TJ Houshmandzadeh, he doesn't know about. He doesn't know that the ownership group has sold off 10% of the franchise. That is something else that we have to consider here. And they are going, believe me, they will be making that money grow that they are going to be getting from the new minority owners that are coming in. So the organization knows what they're doing. They are not at all having any financial issues. The team is printing money left and right. And this is the only direction that we can go. Brandon Ayuk will be back after he recovers from his injury. We've had a great offseason. We've brought back George Kittle. We got rid of some excess baggage in Deebo Samuel and others. And I know where he's coming from. He's a receiver that didn't win shit. He didn't win anything. Okay. So he's probably just butthurt. I don't like his takes when I hear him on other channels too. I just don't like this guy's takes. I think they have no merit, and he goes back and forth. Like, what did he say about Jalen Hurts? He said Jalen Hurts is now underpaid. Well,
it's just stupid.
But then he said Jalen Hurts was overpaid before. So he contradicted himself within 10 seconds. So I don't want to hear anything this clown has to say.
And really, it comes down to this, is that if you apply this to every quarterback, it doesn't make any sense. What he's trying to say is that I think they overpaid Brock Purdy because he doesn't have the natural talents that like a Josh Allen has. He doesn't have the rocket arm. He doesn't have the huge frame, the build. And so because of that, he's being more critical over Brock Purdy's contract. And that's what he's trying to say. If that's what you're going to say, buddy, say it with your chest and actually say what you mean. The other source of controversy from this statement is that Houshmandzadeh is Brandon Ayuk's personal trainer.
He is.
So do you think any of this, I don't think it is, but do you think any of this relates to their conversations about Brock Purdy between BA and Houshmandzadeh?
I do. I think Houshmandzadeh came on. I heard him on a lot of channels and radio stations last year talking about how Brandon Ayuk had to go for more money and how he was being shortchanged by the organization and how why not go for the money when you can get it, right? Because we need that guaranteed money. And look what happened. Brandon Ayuk got his contract. It totally decimated the entire team. That contract, honestly, was the end of us last year. That contract, not only camaraderie, for camaraderie purposes, for the culture and climate of the team, in every way, the way he was communicating, the way he was going on those podcasts, the way he was talking about going to the Commanders, the way he was talking about going to the Steelers. And Houshmandzadeh was his cheerleader. He was his frontline cheerleader the whole time. Because,
he was.
Because they work out together. Well, okay, so Why is Hushmanzada now coming back and saying that our quarterback, who does he want? And that's the other thing that I always ask people when they come to me and they say, we overpaid Brock Purdy. Well, who the hell do you want instead of him? What were the other options? Sam Darnold? Kirk Cousins?
No.
Draft a quarterback? Trade all of your assets for, Cam Ward? I don't know. I don't know what to say to that. So I don't like to hear that kind of stupidity. Have a reason behind your point.
Exactly. And like I said, it doesn't apply to everybody. It only applies to him, because when you apply it to the rest of the league, it doesn't hold water whatsoever. It's just a stupid take, and really this guy needs to shut the fuck up. All right, so we're talking about Brandon Ayuk. He won't be ready for the beginning of the year, but one of the questions I posed was, should the Niners be interested in acquiring a veteran receiver for at least the start of the year? And one of the guys I'm thinking of is Amari Cooper. This guy is still a free agent. This is a guy that they nearly acquired last season in a trade with the Cleveland Browns when Brandon Ayuk was trying to find his new contract. The guy is still a free agent. Do you think that this is a guy that the Niners should consider bringing in to add some veteran leadership to this young wide receiving core?
Yeah, I do. I think that they're going to need more depth at the wide receiver position this year. And when I think of Amari Cooper, I think about that play in Buffalo when he throws the ball. Did he throw the ball back to Josh Allen on the lateral or something? That was
I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, if you could pull that play up, that play was ridiculous. It was like that play was indicative of our entire season when we were in the snow and we were just getting our asses handed to us, and it was like
they're just fucking around. Like, woo!
And they had that play down the sideline. No, Amari Cooper would be great. I think he would provide us not only veteran leadership, but that great. He's got speed still. Could give us a little bit of a deep threat, and he's experienced. And again, I feel like you mentioned just now, Dre, they actually should have pulled the trigger on that trade last year. Like in hindsight, I hate to say that because I like Brandon Ayuk, but man, if they would have pulled the trigger on that trade, I think they would have probably made the playoffs last year.
It's possible, but I mean, the only way they could have pulled that trade off is if if the Browns were going to offer him a new contract. There were a lot of things involved. Like if it was a straight up like, yeah, we're going to trade you, go. There were some factors involved, and that's why they couldn't get that done. But I think Amari Cooper is a solid option. He's a very solid option. And you look at his numbers last season between the Browns and the Buffalo Bills. He had 44 catches for 547 yards and 4 touchdowns. I would have taken that.
Oh, hell yeah.
Based on what we got last season. And so that's what my question was that how confident are you with Pearsall, Jennings, Cowing, Watkins going into Seattle week 1?
I'm not. And that's I think that's going to be one of our Achilles heels this year, is the fact that we don't have the depth at the wide receiver position that we've had in the past. We have. I will say that I love Jawan Jennings. I love me some third and Jawan, as Tim Ryan and Greg Papa like to say.
Absolutely.
He's a monster. He's a reliable guy, and I mean he had to get some confidence from last year. I mean, he was not only was he our best player in the Super Bowl the year before. If the Niners win the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, he wins Super Bowl MVP in that game, and it's crazy to think of that. And then he comes in last year and he has an amazing game in LA against the Rams, 3 touchdowns. And he was our best receiver last year. So that makes me feel a little bit better. The fact that he's coming in with newfound confidence, and I like the way he carries himself, but we need more. And, losing Debo, it's going to be a little bit of a different offense for us now. We're not going to have that dual threat with the Debo coming around, the end arounds which sometimes I would get so frustrated with because I'm like, Jesus, we're going to kill this guy. Like he's like basically running into linebackers like 50 times a game, but he's just getting like like he was like a pinball, just getting pinballed around, and that's why he was always hurt. So I think we do need some help, and Amari Cooper would be a great fit. Now, my question to you would be is who else is out there, because Amari Cooper is getting up there in age.
What's up, Papa J? Good
Papa
to see
J.
you, buddy. And my buddy Johnny Dell dropped in as well. Salute to you as well. Happy Memorial Day. Well, it was on Monday.
And never say Happy Memorial Day. It's a Memorial Day. You're supposed to say it's more of an observance because
it's observance. Yes. Okay. Thanks for making that awkward.
Well, come on, man.
Let's see who's out there for free agent wide receivers. Okay, so let me go ahead and look that up.
Not
But
to put you on the spot, but
I know, really, it's like, come on, man. But no, I think that Amari Cooper would be a really good option. Here I have a list here. This is old. It shows T. Higgins that he's already
from
signed.
like 2022.
I mean, when you look at who's out there, right? You're talking about Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper,
It's too old. Keenan
Marquise Brown. I think it's Hollywood Brown.
Allen.
Hollywood. Jameson Crowder. Barf. Kavontae Turpin. He's really fast and really small. Nelson Aguilar never matured into the receiver.
Is he still with the Raiders? Nelson Aguilar?
He's a free agent. He's 32 years old at that. It's like, no, buddy, I'm sorry. Tutu Atwell. I would take Tutu Atwell. Tyler Boyd, Allen Robinson. Okay, Chris Conley. Okay, yeah.
Chris Conley, is he a free agent?
He's a free agent, yeah. I think that Chris Conley, he won't be back with us, I don't think. I think that Demarcus Robinson's going to kind of take his place, but
yeah, we do have Robinson.
We do have Robinson, so I think it's an option the Niners should explore because they do need some help at wide receiver. You got a guy who's a really good route runner in Amari Cooper who could help you out and bridge that gap between when you get back Brandon Ayuk. Turpin is underrated, I believe so. He's also very small though, Papa J. Like he's as big as I am. So if you just push him, he gets hurt. Like
he reminds me of Marquise Goodwin.
He's smaller than that, though.
Yeah,
I remember Marquise Goodwin.
Yeah,
he's a little guy.
I think he's right, though. I think Turpin is a little more underrated than you're saying. Like,
I think so.
The speed aspect and the deep threat.
Right. And we talk about how, we're worried about the receiving core, and I am. That's probably one of my biggest concerns is the depth at wide receiver. If Pearsall or Jennings goes down in week 1, we're in a huge hole right off the bat. Yes, we're thin in other areas, but wide receiver for some reason is the one that worries me the most. But when you look at what we're getting back a phenomenal player in Christian McCaffrey. Look at his numbers from 2023. He was first in rushing yards after contact, first in rushing yards before and after contact, my bad. 10 yards plus, 10-yard plus runs, 44. And the Rayo, you want to break that down?
The Rayo, what is that? Running yards, something? I don't know.
He was plus 350,
I don't even know what
340.
Is that after contact rush yard? Oh, no, that's up there before and after contact. What is Rayo?
I don't know. I was hoping you knew what that meant. But still, sensational numbers.
He's first in it, whatever it is.
He's first in it. Receiving yards over extremities. But still,
he does get quite a few receiving yards also.
And so my point is that when you have this guy coming out of the backfield as a receiver, or lining up as a receiver out of the backfield. Now you have McCaffrey out there. Now you have George Kittle out there. You have Jennings, Pearsall, Cowing. So having McCaffrey back is going to be a huge improvement than what we saw last season. I was watching stats of McCaffrey in 2023. The Niners look like an entirely different team. Papa J writes, and we definitely have enough money at least to make 1-year deal with Amari. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But when you're getting this kind of production coming back to you this season, that is phenomenal. I mean, this is an MVP caliber player you got coming back to you this season that you didn't even have last season. You had him for 3 games, 4, and he was a shell of himself because he wasn't even in proper shape because he couldn't do anything with the micro tears.
He's coming back post injury. He's coming back, and also it's going to be a little bit, again, we don't know how it's going to look, but the offense may look a little bit different, minus Deebo Samuel, minus Jordan Mason, who went to Minnesota. So there's going to be, and again, Isaac Guerrero, we talked about him. I think he's going to have a great sophomore season, but we cannot, the one thing we cannot do is over lean on Christian McCaffrey, especially early in the season.
I agree with that, but here's my thing is that I really believe that this is going to be such a big factor for San Francisco that most people are underestimating what Christian McCaffrey is going to be able to do this upcoming season. When you hear everyone talk about Christian McCaffrey, all you ever hear about is, well, is he going to be healthy? Is he going to stay healthy? Is he going to stay healthy? Well, guess what? In 2023, he was practically healthy the entire season, and you look at his numbers right here, absolutely dominated with virtually the same offensive line.
He did.
Virtually the same receiving core minus Deebo Samuel. So it's not like, oh, you're bringing them back, but you've lost all your offensive starters, or you have a whole new offensive line. That's going to take some time for him to get acclimated. No, it's virtually the same team. And because you're bringing back a lot of the same players, this is something that they should be able to replicate or get him close to this upcoming season. I'm telling you right now, Christian McCaffrey is going to come back with such a mean in him that he is going to dominate when he goes out there, because this guy's a competitor. You think he wants to remember the season he had last season? Hell no. He wants to go out there and unleash fucking hell on the NFL.
And they weren't in the postseason last year. So, if you look at the year before, they had that long postseason run. He carried them in the 2 postseason games leading to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. He carried them against Green Bay. He carried them against the Lions in that comeback. So he not having to play that much last season, and then not having that postseason run, like you said, yeah. I mean, I'm just always a little bit cautious when you're talking about a guy that's had this kind of an injury history. He had the injury history before he came to us when he was with Carolina. Also, this is not something new. This is not like we've never seen this before. It was the first time where we really saw it with our team, where he had to miss an extended period of time. So have him come in. Let's see how he looks in training camp. Let's see how he looks in the preseason. I'm sure they won't even play him in the preseason, but let's see how he looks. Let's see how he looks coming out of the gates. But don't rely on him to be, just because we don't have the receiving core that we've had in the past. Don't rely on him and overwork him to the point where we risk injury again. I'm not saying that he's going to get injured again. I'm saying that we need to just make sure, and Kyle will do this. Kyle always mixes and matches. If we end up having, if one of our rookie running backs is able to make the team, if we have Isaac Orindo, if we have Patrick Williams Jr., whoever it is that we end up having to spell McCaffrey during some of those.
Patrick Taylor.
Why do I keep calling him Patrick Williams?
Well, we used to have a Wilson as a running, Jeff Wilson.
Yeah, Jeff Wilson. Patrick Taylor Jr. These are guys that can help, that can support Christian McCaffrey so that he's not a one-man show. That's all I'm saying, man.
And not only that, I'm trying to find the stat. There was a post about it. I can't find it right now, but it showed 2 quarterbacks last season who had the lowest check down percentage in the NFL, and Brock Purdy was one of them.
Because he didn't have anybody to check it down to.
Because he didn't have this guy to check it down to. And so that makes a huge difference. I can guarantee you that number will go way up in terms of him using his checkdowns when you got a dynamic receiver running back in Christian McCaffrey. Now, my only concern with McCaffrey, obviously his workload is 1. 2 would be is that because our receiving core is quite thin, I could see them I can see him going out, lining up as a receiver and playing that role of like a Deebo Samuel or, whoever as a receiver out there, and then leaving empty backfield for Brock Purdy because, he's going to fill in as that receiver now. So I can see them lining him up more as a receiver. But that could open doors for guys like Isaac Orindo at receiver, or even Jordan James coming out of the backfield as well. So I'm really excited to see that. Guys, what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the acquisitions and changes at special teams for San Francisco. And what does this mean for the guys that are currently there? Guys, you're listening to the DreArea Sports Show with Drew and Dre. We'll be right back after our word from our sponsors.
You're listening to the DreArea Sports Show, live on YouTube and X. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
The DreArea Sports Show is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use promo code DreArea Sports to save $20 on your first purchase at SeatGeek.com. And we are also brought to you by Taryn Roy, the SEO Optimizer. If you're looking to boost your YouTube channel, then check out the SEO Optimizer. Use promo code DreArea Sports to start your free trial today. PowerBrandSystems. If you're looking to build a website for your small business or YouTube channel, then check out PowerBrandSystems. Use promo code 300POWER to save up to $300 on your first purchase at PowerBrandSystems.
We got some moves on the special teams front, and we're going to talk about it right now. Okay, so the Niners are not done making moves at special teams. we learned today, this is courtesy of Ari Moreau. Let me go ahead and share this little tidbit of news. The Niners are signing veteran punter Thomas Morstead. Now, Morstead is a former punter under Brant Boyer for the New York Jets. So, yes, Brant Boyer is bringing in another punter because the fact that Mitch Wisnowski, he missed 9 games last season with a leg injury and a back injury, and this guy might not even be ready to go at the beginning of this season. So, Drew, let me ask you, do you think this is the end for Mitch Wisnowski, or do you think that Thomas Morstead is just a filler until Wisnowski is 100%?
It was not good last year. We having that inconsistency, and we talked about special teams. What a nightmare the special teams were all year. They cost us at least. I counted, and from what I saw, sorry, dude, I'm looking at that picture.
He took a picture this morning. I was like, "Fuck, this is like at 8:30 in the morning." I'm like, "What time did he get there?" He got there at 7 a.m. Like,
I was reading about it this morning. The dude is like so happy. He's like, "This is like the God's choice. Like, I'm with the 49ers now." He's really excited about this organization. So that's great to hear. He looks kind of like a creeper to me, but hey, like it's all good.
Mitch Wisnowski's pissed off in the background, like, who's that guy?
He's like kicking in the stadium.
He's like, "Come on, mate."
The inconsistency that we saw last year from special teams, I counted, it cost us 3 games. It really did.
At least.
At least. But I'm just being caught, on the safe side and saying 3 games. So, what was our record, Dre? You tell the audience, what was our record last year?
6-9.
Well, you turn that around and we're, 9-6. So
9-6. That's a big difference.
It's a huge difference because now we're in the postseason and we could have been 6-9. No, 6 and weren't we? That's not enough games. Anyways, you're confusing me with with your math. Regardless, 3-game difference because of our special team. So Morstead, he's a veteran. He had a great season with the Jets. He's had a great career. And if we can get any kind of consistency with our special teams and have healthy bodies, and also obviously Boyer is going to make a huge difference in how our team is set up at the special teams positions. Hopefully Moody, what he's been working on is going to help, and we can not have our special teams kill us like they did last year.
He absolutely killed us. I mean, it was a reason why we lost so many games. It led to a lot of games being a lot closer because we couldn't pull away because he was missing kicks. Jake Moody especially. Some insight on Thomas Morstead, courtesy of Matt Mayoko. Morstead, who's 39, was the Jets punter the past 2 seasons under special teams coordinator Brant Boyer, who now runs the show for the 49ers, and has a lot to say in those personal matters. Morstead averaged 47.2 yards per punt with a 40.7 net average last season. So the guy's a pretty good little punter there. Now, it makes you wonder, though, with Brant Boyer coming in, he brought in Greg Joseph to compete with Jake Moody. Now he's bringing in Morstead to compete with Wisnowski, who may be suffering from some injuries, but still you want to put a little bit of pressure on them, but he's bringing in his guys. With that being said, I really feel like Brant Boyer says, unless you guys wow me, I'm going my guys.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's basically it. As long as Morstead gets off good quality punts, Greg Joseph makes his kicks, unless Moody and Wisnowski wow him, I guarantee you they are going to move on from those two and go with these guys because they're his guys. I don't know how many times I've seen this in the NFL, in sports, even at work. When you take over an organization, when you take over a group, a faction, a department, you want your guys because you want the guys you can trust. They already brought in a new long snapper. They got rid of Tabor Pepper. And he brought in a guy who's also 39 years old. So what is Brant Boyer doing? He's bringing in guys that are veterans that are that won't get fazed by the moment, that have plenty of experience.
And the thing is, like Robbie Gould, he was here until he was, I think he was in his 40s. Was he in his early 40s?
Why did you say that name?
It's too hard. I can't. It's too soon.
It's just like, it doesn't, what I'm trying to say, dude, is age doesn't matter with special teams. It means nothing because they're kicking the fucking ball. Like we're not talking about a difficult thing to do consistently. I mean, I know that there's a lot of pressure on these guys on special teams. I know that Punting it's really become more important, the field position game, all of that. But if you look at what happened last year with Jake Moody, it's unacceptable.
Oh, absolutely.
He was missing extra points. It's unacceptable, and
it was disgusting.
And Kyle Shanahan, like I said it on the show last week. That's one of the reasons why he went so gray last year, was because he hates it. He hates it when they make mistakes on special teams. He doesn't feel like special teams should ever be the reason or the cause of a loss of a game. And it happened 3 to 5 times last year. So they've got to get it. They've got to get it sorted. I think they've done a great job of that so far. This is proving it. And there are no feelings to be hurt with this. We have to get the right people in the right positions to do this stupid job of kicking the ball.
And what it is, it's a skilled position. Now, all of them are skilled positions, but that's why they're called special teams. It's a skilled position that only a few can actually do accurately. Now, we talk about Jake Moody. Now, there was an article coming, or there was a breaking news about Jake Moody adjusting his kicking style. Okay,
you know it's May, Andre, when you're hearing breaking news. His kicking style.
Yeah, exactly. So this is courtesy of Coach Yak. I guess Vic Taffer is the one who posted it, but Coach Yak posted it right here. A little summary: Jake Moody has tweaked his kicking style a little after last season's struggles. He changed his kicking style, or his approach, from taking 3 steps before the kick to 2. Dun, dun, dun. And then he says this: it's unacceptable to be kicking the way I was in the second half of the season. I don't know if I lost any confidence, but stuff always creeps into your head, especially after missing a bunch of kicks. But those kicks are irrelevant now. I don't know about that. It's in the past, and I want to move on and kick one kick mentality. As in the next kick. Right now, I've been kicking the ball very well, so I feel like I'm in a good headspace.
Yeah.
He went from 1 step to 2 steps, which could actually take away from his power, but will increase his accuracy. If it takes a season like last season for you to realize that, like, hey, I'm not being very accurate, let me scale it back. I'm sorry, this guy. He's got to fucking go. He's got to fucking go.
The fact that he's got his hands.
He's got to go. I'm sorry.
He always has his hands on his head.
He has that smug look on his face. He's like, well, I don't understand why that didn't work out.
My biggest issue is that if your kicker is talking about this stuff, it's not a good sign. Like the kicker should not be talking about how it's creeping into his head. We shouldn't be. And I can go if I could go out to the high school field right now in the off season and make field goals. Can you do it when it matters, when we need you to make the kicks with 2 seconds to go in the game?
Win the game.
I mean, if you go back to the Tampa game last year after the bye, the only reason that we were even close in that game was because he missed the 2-3 field goals and then barely made the game-winning kick. I mean, it was like by the hair of his chin that he made the kick.
Absolutely.
And that was and also think about what that caused. Do you remember what that caused? It caused that whole friction with Deebo
Taylor
Pepper.
Yeah.
And that became a thing in the media that Kyle Shanahan had to address.
Yeah.
So we've got to, if it means Joseph is the kicker, and that's who Boyer wants to go with, I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that too. I mean, when you look at his numbers last season, he kicked 70.6%. He was ranked 39th in the league. That's the guy you want kicking the ball. That's the guy you're going to lean on to get back to the Super Bowl, let alone get in the playoffs. There's no way. I'm sorry.
We can't have it.
I know he's a 3rd-round pick. I know that. That's your mistake, not mine. But this is a guy, if he misses, I'm telling you right now, I've said it before, if he misses 3 kicks in the preseason, done. There's no going back.
I agree.
There's no going back.
And that's why they got Joseph. They did that as an insurance policy. And I'm sure that Kyle Shanahan and Boyer, they in the front office, they had this discussion. And for the punting game too, they've done it. They showed us today with this, signing of Horvath. I mean, that's not the kind of confidence that I want.
Look at that guy. Why didn't that go in?
The way he talks in the media, he really is such a pansy. The way he communicates and his demeanor, his face. all of that does not exude confidence. And I need my kicker to be confident. I know you don't want me to talk about Robbie Gould. He was confident.
He was confident. I love that guy.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that guy. So let's move on to our final topic, which is expectations. Now, look, we're early on. We're only in OTAs, right? We still got a long way to go. But there was a clip that came out today over on Get Up, courtesy of ESPN. I want to take a look at this. Mike Greenberg had this, was interviewing some guys and talking about the Niners' chances of making the playoffs, okay? So let's take a look at this, and then we'll comment on it.
Mike Greenberg, the Jets fan.
I saw yesterday. One that really jumped out at me was this. Our FPI has the 49ers with an over 62% chance to make the playoffs. You're saying, what does that mean? It means they have the third best chance of any team in the NFC behind only the Eagles and the Lions. It's telling us they are the best team in the NFC West. Lewis, are you buying?
Okay, hold on. He just said behind the Eagles and the Lions. They are the best team in the NFC West.
I don't like Mike Greenberg.
I'm not. Look, this situation here worries me because, one, let's just start on the offensive side of the football, and let's talk about this offensive line, which, along with the defensive line, has been a hallmark of this organization. It's really set the tone in terms of the way that they like to play. What will that unit look like, okay? Number two, what will Christian McCaffrey's availability look like in terms of his durability? Is it ever going to be where they really need it to be?
Isn't that what I said earlier?
16, 17
yeah, but he makes a good point.
And on the defensive side, Greeny, they're trying to revamp everything up front with the drafting of all the youth that they did this year to kind of give Robert Saleh, their new defensive coordinator, their old defensive coordinator, now new defensive coordinator, some guys to really work with once.
And remember, Louis Riddick was in the running to be their GM, and
he's just butthurt.
He's been so bitter ever since.
Again,
he never got a job from anybody.
Nope. In the West, the NFC's stacked. I just don't know how they're not going to win the division. How do they get in as a wild card?
Oh, they're going to win
the strength that exists in the North and in the East overall with all the improvements those teams have made.
I agree with you. I'm surprised by that projection. We'll
go
see.
Root for the Jets, Greenberg.
Okay, so you heard what they had to say. Louis Riddick, Mike Greenberg, and whoever else was standing over there. So look, he's bringing up the obvious points. You got a lot of young players on defense, a lot of young players on that defensive line. How are they going to mature? How are they going to play in the Robert Saleh system? There's still a lot of question marks there. There's question marks surrounding Christian McCaffrey's availability, his health. Will he be able to stay healthy the entire season? Well, when you go back 2 years ago, he was healthy almost the entire season. In fact, I would almost argue that if he just played last season, he probably would have been healthy all year. They were like, you got micro tears, and then all of a sudden it was just like, okay, I'm back. Like, wait, what?
They kind of fungled that up a little bit.
Well, it was like, did they just go away, or did they decide, well, they're not so bad as we thought they were? So
he went to Germany.
Yeah.
And got it fixed.
Yeah, he went to Germany.
Yeah.
So my question is with the Niners having that high, the third highest playoff percentage to make the playoffs, do you think San Francisco, when we talk about expectations, do you expect San Francisco to either win the division or make the playoffs?
I think they win the division. I do. I don't think they're going to be a dominant team by any stretch, and I think they're gonna be in the 11-6 range. I predicted that last week, 11 or 12 wins. It's because of for me, it's a couple things. It's because of the schedule. The schedule is definitely, and I think that's why you see the 62% percentage, because of the schedule and how they have one of the easiest schedules in football this year. They do have, again, they have some guys coming back. Brandon Ayuk's not going to be back right away, but they have McCaffrey coming back. He's going to be, we all believe, you and I both believe he's going to be healthy and ready to go. And then there's the other intangible for me that we talked about a little bit, but it's the confidence level of Brock Purdy. It's the confidence level that he will gain from this contract, from not being that kind of, limbo contract quarterback. He now is the guy that the organization is committing to. And yeah, they're going to have some challenges. Their offensive line, I think, is going to be really important. That I think losing Aaron Banks could hurt a little bit, but I mean, I'm really looking forward to a year 2 of Dominic Pooney. I'm looking forward to seeing Brock Purdy have McCaffrey back and being able to feed off of him and have him out of the backfield. And I do think that they've made improvements on defense. And this is, we're not going to have enough time today, but they they may have some sneaky draft picks in the secondary also that we can talk about that are going to make this team, I think, a little bit better on defense than we saw at the end of last year. Fred Warner coming back, of course, and Mykel Williams and Nick Bosa being able to get pressure on the quarterback. Hopefully, we don't know for sure what that's going to look like, but this team is going to be a lot better. And I don't see anybody in this division. I don't see the Rams being competitive. I don't see Seattle being a team that's going to dominate the division like they probably think. Arizona is Arizona. So I think this team, if I had to pinpoint it, I would say they win 11 games and they probably win the division by a game or two.
So when you look at, let's compare Brock Purdy to another quarterback last season, their last season numbers to kind of give you a look at kind of a comparison look. Going head to head with CJ Stroud. Okay. CJ Stroud,
the golden child.
10-7. Brock Purdy was 6-9. Remember, he missed a couple of games.
Oh, that's why you said 6-9. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I know I got you.
6-9, right? Yeah. But when you look at the completion percentage, Brock wins that one. Passing yards, Brock wins. Passing yards per attempt, Brock wins. Brock wins.
Yeah.
Touchdowns tied at 20. Interceptions tied at 12. Now, passer rating 96.1, 87.0. Okay, you're talking about a 1 year difference in these guys, but CJ Stroud had a stellar defense player wise, and he had a ton of assets on offense. Nico Collins at one point, Tank Dell and Diggs. I know Diggs got hurt. They also got the running back. I forgot his name. The one who used to play for the Bengals. He punched that girl in the face.
Yeah, Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon.
Yeah, he was good last year.
He was good. He was really good. Now, he had a lot of stellar players, but yet Brock Purdy gets criticized because, well, he's Mr. Irrelevant, and C.J. Stroud was number 2 pick in the draft. But it goes to show you just how good Brock Purdy really was. And so because of that, my expectation for this team is that they are going to win the division. They're going to make the playoffs. And I personally think that San Francisco will end the season at 13-4.
Wow.
I do. Because I think they have a lot to prove, and these guys are out for blood this year. They're like, you know what? We're not fucking around.
And
the only area that they don't have a lot of say in is the receiving core. You don't have Brandon Ayuk. You no longer have Deebo Samuel. So you got to make it up with these guys. You got to hope that JJ and Pearsall really step up and they don't get hurt early on. You have three division games in the first 5 weeks. Seattle, Arizona, and the Rams. Mm-hmm. You got to win those games early on. If you lose, 2 of those 3 games, it's not good.
Yeah,
you got to capitalize on those early.
And that was why we ended up losing the division last year. It was because we lost the divisional games. We lost a game against the Rams that we should have won in LA. We lost a game against Arizona at home that we should have won. And we lost a game, I thought, against Seattle at home that we should have won, that Geno Smith had a touchdown run in the final.
Oh, that Devondre Campbell couldn't pivot and get to him and change direction. Yeah.
There's that one, and then the last one is the Rams game at home to end the season. So that's four games right there that we should have won.
Or how about the Rams game in week 3 when we were winning 21-7? Week 2 against the Vikings, we could have won that game too.
And that game, and Andre, that game in week 2 or 3 against the Rams. Week 3, we would have won that game if Jake Moody made a field goal. We were up 7, and all we had to do was it was like a 45-yard field goal to go up 10. And he missed.
We would have won that game if what's his face would have caught the ball. The receiver out of Michigan, number 10. I forgot his name now.
Ronnie Bell.
Ronnie Bell. If Bell makes that catch on the right sideline instead of just knocking it down like he was a corner, we would have won that game. But then again, we would have relied on Jake Moody to kick a smaller kick, and who knows if he would have made that kick or not. But things like that derailed the season. And those are the things I see them not doing this season because the guys they brought in and the talent that they're surrounding Brock Purdy with. So speaking of talent, I did want to bring this up. I know we're up against top of the hour here, but I did want to bring this up. This came courtesy of the great John Chapman. I'm going to try to get him on the show with us one of these weeks. The Niners lowered Fred Warner's cap hit by almost $17 million for 2025.
Nice.
The 49ers now have $52 million in cap space this season, which is second in the NFL. Currently, the 49ers have 18% of their salary cap unused and will roll it forward to future cap space. Now, this is incredible news for San Francisco, having this much cap space. They do have room to add a few players, which I think they may still do. I would love to see them add more depth at defense at the defensive end position, and of course, add a little more depth at receiver, because we talked about that earlier. But when you talk about this guy and Fred Warner, I mean, this is the number one number one linebacker in the NFL.
Now you're starting to sound like Mike Greenberg, not knowing who anybody is.
I know.
Dude, like this is what I always tell people that come to me and they bitch and moan and complain about the Niners. I'm like, dude, you could be the Cleveland Browns.
Exactly.
Like we have a great front office. John Lynch. We used to have Adam Peters. He's moved on to Washington, but we have Parag Marathi, who takes care of all the salary cap. This is totally a Marathi deal right here, where they bring what they do is they bring the players in, and you could talk to Larry Krueger about this. He's talked about this. They bring the players in and they have an adult conversation about how they can restructure these contracts to make them team friendly so that the team can continue winning and being competitive. Even though we didn't win last year, we were still competitive. There are teams that are not competitive on a yearly basis. So, and I know they haven't won a Super Bowl since 1994. I know that we've had our issues with getting past Kansas City. That Kansas City's not going to be an issue anymore. I'm not worried about them. But man, our organization, they are first class all the way. And what they've done is, I think, short of a miracle with Brock Purdy and Fred Warner and still having cap space.
Absolutely. And guys, if you want to support the channel and you're watching on X, we have 87 watching right now. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel over on YouTube. Follow this account on X as we go live every Wednesday for the DreArea Sports Show with Drew and Dre. We'll be live every Wednesday at 11 a.m., bringing you all the latest news from the San Francisco 49ers, and we sprinkle in some Giants and Warriors and other Bay Area sports because we're huge fans of them. Why not? Remember, guys, that this show is also brought to you by SeatGeek. Use promo code DreArea Sports to save up to $20 on your first purchase over at SeatGeek.com. We're also brought to you by BetUS. Use promo code DreArea Sports.
Have you heard my story about BetUS?
No, we'll talk about that later. So use promo code DreArea Sports, and they will match you up to 125%. So definitely check that out. We're also brought to you by PowerBrandSystems. Use promo code 300POWER to save up to $300 on your first purchase over at PowerBrandSystems. You're looking for a company that will build you a website for your small business, YouTube channel, social media account, then check out Power Brand Systems. Go to my website, nicotina.net. That is the homepage for all three of my YouTube channels, including DreArea Sports. They're the ones who made that website. There are memberships available under the DreArea Sports channel. Drew over here is a member as well. They start as low as, I believe, $3, if not $1. Yeah. Definitely check it out. It's worth it to support the channel and keep the lights on, keep the StreamYard running. All the help that we can get, we appreciate it. And we love every single one of you guys who tunes in every week to listen to this broadcast and to talk 49ers football, Bay Area sports. We love it. Guys, you guys are the best.
Awesome.
The best.
And
well, guys, that is...
You guys, I love all you guys. I've been reading your comments, and honestly, a lot of what you guys say makes more sense than what we say. So keep it up, man.
Absolutely, guys. If you're watching this later on, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below, letting us know what you think about some of these topics or what you think about the show. Anything you want to do, I appreciate it. There's also a link down below for the memberships I just talked about. We're also on Patreon as well, so there's a link to join the Patreon. I post videos and news updates all day long over on the Patreon, so definitely join us on there. You can always, there's another link down there called the tip jar. How does that work? Well, this channel's not monetized, so if you want to leave a tip, which is kind of like a super chat, you could do so by going to the tip jar, which is connected to my website, which will go straight into the channel's bank account. So I appreciate anyone who leaves a tip using the tip jar link in the description below. Guys,
But I didn't get a lap dance, Andre. Why don't I get a tip?
Next time. When Jared comes up, I'll do it.
Okay.
And we'll tape it for you. Guys, that's going to do it for the show. I want to thank everyone who came out today and was in the chat. Papa J, Johnny Dell, and everybody else who was there as well. We're going to be live next week. Whoa, that's super loud. We're going to be live next week, Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, right here for the DreArea Sports Show.
NBA Finals preview.
NBA Finals preview will be happening.
Yep.
Another update on the Niners as they move through OTAs. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. Drew, you want to take us out? You have any last words?
Yeah, man. Just, I want everybody to take it easy on the 49ers this offseason. Just enjoy it. Like, let's not be so negative, because last year
enjoy the game.
All that negativity, and we need positivity going into this year. So
there it is. All right, guys. We will catch you guys next time. Until next time, guys, stay cool. Go Niners. And peace. Thank you for watching this video. If you want more of this content, then check out some of these recommended videos right here on your screen. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support the channel, you can do so by going to my website, which is nicotina.net, and there are memberships available under DreArea Sports.